Chapter 2 here, solving with multi-step. So we're looking at multi-step, but we're also looking at brackets. So we're going to be doing both. Now, when we do brackets, it'll generally lead back to multi-step. So we need to learn the multi-step first, and then we'll throw in the brackets. Brackets in BEDMAS, those will come, when you're working backwards from BEDMAS, you would think those would be a last, but we're actually going to be doing those first. Now, but like I said, we're not going to get into that quite yet. So you saw before in the last video that we ended up trying to get rid of the subtraction and addition first, then the divide or multiply, and then finally the exponent. What we're going to do first, you don't always have to do this on the left, but what we're going to do that first now, because this is extra things, we're going to simplify either sides or both sides of the equation using something called like terms. And we'll learn about that, and I'll actually show that here first in our example 1. So it wants us to solve, and we always need to get the x alone. That's always our goal. But on either side, it looks like both sides, there are some like terms. So I have to, and some of you guys can do this. I'm going to put a line here for my equal sign so I can just separate the left side and the right side. On the left, we've got a 6 and we've got a 4. So both of those don't have an x, so I'm going to put those together. I've got a 5x, but I also now have a 10. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do this in green. Green will be my like terms. So the 6 and the 4 will then become my 10. And in a similar way, on the right side, my 15 and my negative 50, those are alike. And what I mean by alike is that they both don't have any x's in them. So I can put those together. I've got 15 and 50, but 50 is negative, so you're going to have to subtract them, and you're going to get 35, but negative. So that's what I did first. Step number 1 is getting rid of any like terms. Now I need to get this x alone. And that's basically it. A few more, I don't know if it's the next example, but sometimes we're going to have an x on both sides, so we'll deal with that. But step number 1 for now is combine any like terms, then to solve for x like normal. So I have to get rid of any addition or subtraction first, so I'll minus the 10, because those are gone, but I have to do that from this side as well. So I've got a 5x on the left equals 35 and 10 is negative 45. Now this is a times, so I will divide. 5's will cancel out, so all I'm left with is an x, and on the right, 45 divided by 5 is 9, and it's negative. So x is equal to negative 9. Let's try the next example. Okay, I'm going to put a little line here. That's going to be my equal sign, and that's only to help me see which things are alike on either side. Well, let's look on the right side first. I have a 4x and a 6x. Those are alike. So that will get me a 10x. And there's still a plus 32 here. So I'll write that down. Equals. And I note on the left side, oh, these are also alike. A 7 and a 5. Both of them do not have an x. 7 minus 5 is 2. So now I've got 2 equals 10x minus 32. I can solve for x. The whole idea now is to get x alone. So first get rid of any addition or subtraction. I see an addition, so I will subtract. And whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I'll subtract those. So on the right-hand side here, I've got my 10x. And on the left, I've got negative 32 and a positive 2. There's 32 bad guys and 2 good guys. There's way more bad guys. How many are there? Well, there's 30 left over. 30 equals 10x. Now this is a multiply, so I can divide, and those are gone. So my x is equal to negative 30 over 10. Negative 30 over 10 is going to be negative 3. So x is equal to negative 3. So that's what we have for the first video here. Now we'll put, in the next ones, we'll put, you can see immediately, I'll put a little line here. You can see there's an x on the left and an x on the right. And what do you do there? So that's going to be our next video. But for here, our first step was just combining things on the left side and on the right side. So I'll pause it or I'll stop it here for you to look at and make some notes, and then we can move on.